Welcome. Tonight we drift back in time to a windswept shore on the edge of the known world, to a colony planted in the soil of uncertainty, ambition, and mystery, a place where voices once echoed among thick-growing trees until they vanished one day without a trace. You're listening to Nightfall Sleep Radio, where soft-spoken stories and gentle mysteries lull you toward a restful sleep. So settle in, close your eyes, let your breathing slow down, and come with me on a quiet journey to the outer banks of North Carolina in the year 1587. Our story begins with a dream, not a dream of gold or spices, but of a foothold in North America. It was a foothold for Queen Elizabeth I in the New World. England was eager to rival Spain's growing power in the Americas. So, in 1585, Sir Walter Raleigh received a royal patent to establish a colony across the Atlantic. He called it Virginia in honor of the Virgin Queen. But Raleigh himself never sailed. Instead, he sent an expedition. Their first attempt failed, but a second group, this time including women and children, set out 2 years later. They were led by John White, an artist and mapmaker. His daughter Eleanor was among them. So was her husband, Ananias Dare, and soon their daughter would be born. In August of 1587, Eleanor gave birth to the first English child born in the Americas. Her name was Virginia Dare. It was a hopeful sign. But hope would prove to be fragile in this strange new land. The settlers chose to build on Roanoke Island, off the coast of present-day North Carolina. The forests were thick, the soil was sandy, food was scarce, and relationships with the local tribe was already strained by previous explorers. Things quickly turned tense. Within weeks, the colonists begged John White to return to England for supplies. However, he was reluctant to leave. His daughter and granddaughter would be left behind. Eventually, he reluctantly agreed. He set sail in late 1587, expecting to return in a matter of months. Unfortunately, war had other plans. When White reached England, he found the country was gripped by conflict. The Spanish Armada loomed off the coast. All the English ships were called to defense. No one could spare a vessel for a supply run. 3 years passed, and White was still in England. Finally, in 1590, White secured passage aboard a private ship. He returned to Roanoke. His ship arrived in August, on the 3rd birthday of his granddaughter, Virginia Dare. But there was no celebration in Roanoke. The settlement had been deserted. There were no signs of battle, no bones near the village, no smoke-blackened ruins. There was only silence, and one single word carved into a fence post. Croatoan. The letters were deeply etched, clear and deliberate. Before he had left 3 years earlier, White had left instructions. If the colony moved, they should carve the name of their destination. If they were in danger, they were to add a cross. There was no cross. White had hopes the settlement had simply moved. He believed they had gone to Croatoan Island, an area we now call Hatteras Island, where a friendly tribe lived. White wanted to investigate, but bad weather kept his ship from sailing to the island. He never saw the colonists again, not his daughter, not his granddaughter, not any of the 115 men, women, and children who had once called Roanoke home. Over the centuries, the fate of the lost colony has stirred minds and imaginations. Did they join the Croatoan tribe? That's the most plausible theory. Some oral histories from indigenous tribes reference blue-eyed ancestors. Some artifacts, including tools of English make, have turned up on Hatteras Island, but no solid proof has ever confirmed the settlers' arrival there. Were they attacked? It's possible. Spanish forces, hostile tribes, or even pirates could have overwhelmed the settlement. But there were no signs of violence, and the carved word Croatoan suggests a peaceful departure. Could they have starved, fallen ill, or scattered? Perhaps. They may have split into smaller groups to survive. Some may have headed inland, disappearing into the vast wilderness. Archaeological traces have been found far away from Roanoke, but nothing definitive has ever been discovered. Could they have tried to return to England? That idea is unlikely. No ships went missing, but no one can really know for sure. And then there are some stranger theories. Maybe they were cursed. Some say the colony was doomed by earlier acts of cruelty toward native peoples. Others point to a string of eerie coincidences, including storms, failed crops, and odd disappearances. Were they simply pulled into legend? As the centuries passed, the story of the lost colony began to blend with folklore. With each generation, the rumors around Roanoke became more intriguing. Let's imagine for a moment a gentler ending to this story. The air is warm, the cicadas hum in the distance, the trees whisper secrets in a tongue the colonists have yet to learn. It is the summer of 1590. The settlers, weary but alive, sit in a circle near a fire. They have made peace with the Croatoans. They have learned new ways to gather food, to fish the waters, and to read the winds. They no longer wear English clothes. Their bodies are lean and strong. Their children speak 2 languages, sometimes blending them into something new. One night, a storm blows in. Word reaches them that ships are approaching off the shore, but lightning flashes over the water, and the tide churns dangerously. They carve the word Croatoan into a post, hoping someone will understand. But the sea is too wild, and no ships make landfall. The settlers move further inland and never hear from England again. Many years pass. Virginia Dare grows tall and quiet. She listens more than she speaks, and the forest is her home. Some say she became a white doe, an enchanted spirit roaming the woods under a silver moon. They say she can still be seen today, just beyond the tree line. Others say the colony simply disappeared. It was lifted from time itself, absorbed into the land like a morning fog into the earth. But maybe they simply lived out their lives in the forest, quietly, gently, until time and history moved past them. And now, as you imagine the sea and the gentle forest, let your thoughts drift. Imagine out past the barrier islands and the bending trees, past the carved wooden post and the footprints lost to sand, and let the wind carry you softly toward sleep. You've been listening to Nightfall Sleep Radio, where mysteries whisper in the silence and dreams expand throughout the night. Sleep well and good